Good morning, how are you? This is Brian Anderson. I'm bringing you another video devotional. We are in Genesis 18. We've been working our way through the book of Genesis. We've come to chapter 18, and here we find a wonderful example of hospitality. One day, three strangers approach Abraham, and when he sees these men, he doesn't know who they are. Later, he finds out that one of them is the Lord and two of them are angels. But initially, he doesn't know that. And when he sees them, he runs to meet them. He bows down before them, and he asks if he could bring them some water so that they could wash their feet and some food to refresh them. After that, he runs out to Sarah. He hurries into the tent, and he asks Sarah to make some bread cakes for them. And then he runs out to where the servant is, and he tells the servant to kill a choice calf and to cook it and to prepare it for these men. He also offers them curds and milk. And as you see the story unfold, you notice that Abraham saw hospitality as a great privilege and as a great responsibility. It seems to me that this is something that we've lost in our modern day. We no longer really think much about hospitality. The word hospitality means love of strangers. Over and over in the Old Testament, God commanded Israel to provide for and to take care and to welcome the stranger and the alien. When we come to the New Testament, we find that a man can't even be a leader in the church unless he practices hospitality. We find that in 1 Timothy 3, verse 2. In 1 Peter 4:9, it says, "Be hospitable to one another without complaint." And in Hebrews 13:2, the Bible says, "Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by this some have entertained angels without knowing it." For sure, Hebrews 13:2 is talking about Abraham and how he showed hospitality to these strangers, not knowing that they were actually angels. So all of this tells me that hospitality is an important part of our Christian life. However, I fear it's something that we think very little about and don't seek to practice. So here's the question: how can we practice hospitality? I mean, what can we do to make sure that we're actually doing this in our life? Well, I've thought of some examples. See what you think. If you know of someone new to your neighborhood, invite them over for dinner. If you know of an immigrant who has recently come to the United States, befriend them and go out of your way to help them to get established here in the United States in whatever ways they have need. Now, if your church meets in homes like our church does, I know that not very many do, but there are some churches that meet in homes. If it does, offer to host one of the meetings in your own home. Invite new people to your church over for dinner to get to know them and to fellowship with them. Abraham offers us a really good example of hospitality. I think we need to learn to follow his example.